would you say if somebody said your life is like a sauce? Yeah, what would you say if somebody said your life and your business is like a sauce? Yeah, that's kind of what entrepreneurship is like. And what your sauce is like. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the news. It's DINKY. What's good? I don't know what version we're on. Anyways, let's keep going. So, your sauce, meaning your business is like sauce, in essence, and everybody's energetically like a sauce. So you just gotta have your special blend. And what you're doing is you're putting it on the market. In essence, you're taking it out to the market. One of the first things we're considering is actually trading, not selling your sauce. So, as opposed to thinking that you're selling, thinking about trading instead of thinking you're like your sauce, because everyone's got sauce, right? So everyone's got sauce, so everyone's in the marketplace, but at the same time, sauce has a market value. You have to conceptualize that sauce has a market value, right? So let's go from there. What's this market value of sauce? So if you take it to the market, sauce has a market value, meaning like it just depends what kind of sauce it is, but typically sauce itself has a market value. Like if there was 400 different types of carrots, for example, every carrot, just carrots in of itself, would have a market value. It's like an asset. If carrots were an asset, what's the market value of an asset? So therefore you're taking it to market and you're trading because you know carrots have value. So with that in mind, for example, you know everyone's got a sauce, everyone's got an energy sauce, everyone's sauce is made of different things. So if you take that energy sauce to market, you know that energy sauce has value to begin with. So with that in mind, it's like trading as opposed to selling. Where selling is like kind of coming from a place of down below and then trying to climb up necessarily. But with the mindset of trading, your mindset is sort of like you're trading to begin with, and you're just sort of like vibing with like you already know you have value, so you have to assume the value. You want to assume the value. Yeah. That's what trading is all about. In essence, is you're going to market because you know the product already has value. So let's go from here. What else is on the list? Yeah. Especially if you're snowboarding and you bring sauce with you. It tastes so good. It's like a special blend on your day. It's a great brand. I used to make great clothing for sure. Super random shout out for no reason to them. Special Blend was a snowboarding clothing brand. Oh yeah, snowboarding is like a very relevant item where everybody travels around and has the ability to also go ahead and get around in the world. So spreadboarding and also wavelength surfing is very relevant because it's like your wavelength surfing, just changing your channels of your brain, being on different wavelengths all the time. It's very trippy to do that because it's like super, super peculiar because you're actually traveling within your own mind. It's a trip, but it's super, super like physically almost true. It's like you're quantum traveling through pipelines and tunnels. Oh yeah. So where do we go next? My sort of objective with this little podcast is trying to transpose life into media. It's like a little scientific experiment. We're trying to transpose life into media form. It's like a little weird commitment to the life of this so-called brand even. And it's really difficult to actually get promotional energy into the mix as we move along. Yeah. For sure. Trying to get the brand out there. Trying to get people to acknowledge somewhat at a time. It's hard, difficult to even keep these podcasts up day to day, so to speak. But the purpose is because it's just news, so we're just trying to report what's ever happened in the day anyways, and there's always different things happening. So that's what I'm talking about by channel surfing, because as you're channel surfing, there's like a record. In essence, I've been trying to keep track of the record as opposed to letting it fly away, like it's been doing many times. So we're just trying to put that. It's making my life into science. Trying to make my life into science, yeah, which is a joke, by just documenting and putting this stuff on media, because that is life energy and it's transposing into media form, into the podcast form. In essence, we want to try to add some more music in the future as well. So we're just some more stuff to the podcast so it gets a little more interactive and hopefully some video as well. We'll see how it goes. Try to keep it going. Yeah. There's also a movie. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that these days, especially since the podcast has been going on, is part of a process in terms of trying to like reconsider and redispose how to conceptualize life. It's very peculiar, but it's very much relevant in terms of acknowledging all energies, frequencies, channels, in terms of wavelength surfing as well, like mentioned before. It's very trippy. It's 100 per thousand million, bajillion, endlessly percent trippy, because literally if you look around at all of the world, there's literally everything all at once is happening, all at once, all the time, everything all at once is happening. So it's like this legitimate art display of frequencies, it's displaying itself on a day-to-day basis. That is the world. It is every single day an energetic display of art. It is very peculiar, and it happens in a harmonious sense every single goddamn day, and it's very energetically, spiritually aligned in a peculiar ass sense, and that's what has to do with the markets realistically also as well. So it's like spiritually, it's very trippy for sure, because you're just like this vessel of energy that just kind of persists in time as time goes on, right? And such. But the markets are the exact same thing. They're actually life forces of their own. So it's like, okay, well, I'm energy, so right. So I guess I have to align with markets that I'm interested in being in. And that actually moves along to the next purpose. And the point and thought, well, actually, we'll focus on that movie for a second as well, because still those energies going on at all times necessarily are just very trippy, because they're just cataclysmically chaotic energies at all given times happening at all given senses of the world. So if you take a step back and acknowledge that there's all these energies, that's very much like markets in of itself, and you just like have to acknowledge them to begin with and not ignore them, to acknowledge that there are certain trends and such things, especially outside of the public markets. Public markets and private markets are completely different. Public markets are completely encircled by like energies that they call securities, because it's like, they want it to act like it's secure, and realistically, like, that's actually kind of horse shit in my opinion, because all of everything else in terms of opportunity, it's just like this little petting zoo. Realistically, it's like a petting zoo in the world. There's one petting zoo in the world, whereas there's millions of animals everywhere in the world, all over the place, all the time. Big to small, small to big, up in the air, in the ground, all the frick over the place. But the stock market acts like it's this one petting zoo for the whole world. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, it's nasty, it's nutty. It's not even like the right word to say nasty, it's just peculiar in what it is. And that means that there's opportunity and necessarily an energy everywhere, all the time. So if you continue to channel surf, but at the same time, you want to shift gears and talk about total addressable markets, because you want to become just similar to like I'm trying to do with this podcast and trying to become the energy of this podcast. You want to become the market energy. You want to become, once you pick a niche, if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you choose a niche, everyone's got a personal brand, so everybody's niche kind of vibes with other existing energies because you're a person, so you vibe to begin with as other people. So that's just an example. But ultimately, if you vibe with other niches, markets, you choose a market, you want to become that energy. You want to become affiliated. Like if you move to a neighborhood, you become affiliated. You become known, so you have friends in the neighborhood necessarily. And it's similar to markets, similar to businesses. It's similar to such things as that. It's similar to how you want to try to roll in terms of business, in terms of becoming the actual market. It's not like you jump into a pool, but you become everyone else in the pool. Like if you're in a pool with a bunch of other people, you actually are part of the ecosystem. Everyone's swimming, but you're part of the pool. Everyone's there, but you're part of the pool, part of the process, part of the energy, part of that whole ecosystem, part of the whole cookie. If the whole pool was a cookie and every person in the pool was a chocolate chip, you are now a chocolate chip. So that cookie now has one more chocolate chip as a result of you, and that influences the taste of the whole chocolate chip. So therefore, you become the cookie. You become the cookie. Therefore, you become the market. The market is the cookie. The market is the pool. You become the pool because you're within the market. And yeah, that's interesting, I guess. Shifting so many gears, so many times, so many places, so many ways. Gotta try to keep phoning the outer worlds and the outer spirits to try to make more interesting, peculiar, consistent news about the financial realm with such a strange angle that's hopefully very strange, but also just as aligned with the chaotic nature of the chaotic energies that's in the world regardless anyhow. So yeah. You want your philanthropic energy to snowball. In essence, you want to be like a snowball, and you also want to use money. If you want to think about it, the purpose of money as a purpose of sense, a very purposeful sense. What is it? It's supposed to support business. What are businesses in essence? Businesses are supposed to support causes. In essence, your brand, is energy, right? So your brand or anyone's brand is aligned with a cause. At the back end of any energy is a cause. So if you want to ask somebody, if you're trying to sell oranges at an orange fair, what is your story? Your story is how you got the oranges, and also what are you going to do with the money after you sell the oranges, right? So that makes you and your energy unique based on those sort of things. In essence, like where your product came from, where it's sourced from, how it aligns with you as a person, your integrity, how like much quality of a product of oranges you got, and why they're so special as oranges. But then again, also, what are you going to do with the money if they buy from you as opposed to somebody else? And that's your cause, and that's more interesting than anything else. But that makes you unique, like a fingerprint, like a hair follicle, like all these things that are unique. And like so yeah, with that in mind, you gotta keep it in mind that money is purpose. The purpose of money is to actually be for business, in essence, right? Like, so like, and what's the purpose of business? To be able to have a cause at the back end. What's that? Philanthropy. That's philanthropic energy. It's fueled by philanthropic energy. So therefore, if you waste money, if you choose to waste money, you don't get to fulfill your cause necessarily. If you don't understand or whatever, that the purpose of money is to actually fulfill you like a force field in life as we float through the universe, like it to grow your business by snowballing. The more that you spend and invest on philanthropic energy, which is the thing that's fueling your business at the back end to begin with, once you acknowledge that that's the thing that's fueling it to begin with, that money surrounds you as meant to surround you like a force field, because everybody is a business, everyone has a business, ultimately, everyone has the potential to invest their attention every day. So therefore, everyone is a business. So therefore, if you acknowledge that money in life is, the purpose of it is to become a snowball, a force field around you, and you have the ability to make that snowball grow and to make that snowball by having it go down the hill. And the only way to do that, in essence, is to invest in philanthropic energy, which has to do with investing in your cause, which has to do with investing in amplifying your message, which has to do with investing in your business itself, because your business and all businesses are meant to have philanthropic causes at the back end of them, because you can only grow things that are from a positive. So you're growing a positive business, in essence, because you have to have philanthropic energy within, because you're being supporting of a cause, regardless of what that cause is. It's all being supportive of a cause. So acknowledging that your money should not be wasted, and so many people and so many things and so many assets are wasted on things and frivolous materials all the time, as opposed to taking the waste, repurposing it, and acknowledging that it's meant to go into a business, a personal business, and that in essence is able to try to grow your business and snowball it. And if you continue to try to grow the force field and not waste the money and the energy and keep that purpose-driven focus in line and in mind, then that snowball will snowball, in essence, because that snowball energy is monetary energy that is combined with philanthropic energy that is meant to, those two things combined, grow the snowball and grow the business over time, because people appreciate the cause, they support the cause, they appreciate and align with the greater good that is meant to come from and result from the cause and the business in of itself, which is a greater cause and philanthropic cause, which is meant to benefit the greater world, which is some place in the world. Always at some place in the world, so you're benefiting places in the world, people appreciate you, and that's how the snowball, in essence, snowballs and grows. Yeah. Let's go back to the movie, everything happening on all places all at once. That's a trippy-ass movie. Let's keep talking about that all the time. That all these energies are crazy and everywhere, so they're just like little trains all the time, and you can jump on any train at any given time. You jump on a train that's going anywhere. It's called frequency. It's called attention. It's called a mentality train that you can shift gears, you can shift channels, but you got to keep your asset in a mindset, so you can keep on the right trains that are headed towards getting more money, which is heading towards more purpose, which is heading towards more philanthropic energy. Philanthropic energy is the primary fuel that we want to fuel all businesses, because that's how everybody in the world can play like kids as time goes on. Yeah. Oh shiz, assets around someone, meant to encase their purpose, that energy like a circle around them. That's the power of marketing. In this instance, is it's different than investing, because you have the ability to actually change and influence markets. The power of marketing is a lot different than investing. The power of marketing is telling stories. The power of marketing is trading assets that are not necessarily tradable, because you can trade stories. In investing, you just trade money and try to get other money, and it's like somebody else and such. But in the private markets and marketing sense, you can trade stories for money. And it's much more interesting because it can become exemplified and amplified by other people, and the other energies can catch other energies and such things. But everybody has to acknowledge that this game exists. Everybody has to acknowledge that this game exists to begin with. The power of marketing versus investing is so much more interesting, because it's just stories. Stories can be manifested from any which direction, but you have to amplify those stories and get them out there through philanthropic energy, fueling the message and getting it to spread in different ways, because other people wanted to see it spread, because they wanted to see the philanthropic energy spread, and they want to see people trying things. A lot of people just don't even try. Oh yeah. There's a day for timing. This might be the end of this podcast. Thanks again. TehC, peace. Oh yeah, last thing is that we are going to try to make music like kids. Oh yeah, there's a kids music genre, and even though I'm trying to do these weird podcasts like punk singing, and then we're going to add like orchestra sounds and like electronic music and such, but there's also a kids genre. We want to actually tap into the kids genre in terms of music making as well. Yeah, we're getting Foley in the background, real cool cars making lots of sounds and such. But yeah, that's what I was just talking about. It sounds like kids playing with each other, like doing burn, hanging out and having fun with each other in the parking lots. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Or on the street with each other, like rollerblading and stuff. Let's all hang out and play some games together as kids and change the world with more philanthropic energy, fueling everything. And everybody takes care of everyone else, and there's a global ecosystem of appreciation for sure, because we're all assets, because it's crazy to exist for sure, and that's super unique and should be preserved and acknowledged and cared for every single day. So I see the market, yeah, magic. We gotta hedge energies, market self. Oh yeah. Just like that movie before, you gotta hedge energies. You gotta hedge energies and acknowledge all energies from different directions, and try to diversify those energies to the market somehow. Oh yeah, you gotta diversify those energies so that those energies have the best proper attempt to grow. You gotta hedge those energies because in social media, a lot of people's attention is in different places. So you gotta try to stay at the stack of attention where people's attention. Yeah, you gotta stay at the top of the stack. Oh yeah, this is a wavelength surfing community. So keep wavelength surfing. Let's all keep surfing and acknowledge that we're surfing to begin with, and acknowledge that everyone's an investor to begin with. And when you're investing your attention, you also are marketing, and when you're investing your attention into assets, you're also doing marketing to be able to continue to market and be able to acknowledge that you're in a market to begin with, because you're among other energies, and all energies in this fashion are markets, and that's sort of the moral of the story. So try to just unfold and continue to unfold and be mindful of these energies, because it's very trippy that we're part of this whole ecosystem, and when you have the acknowledgement that you have the ability to manipulate the environment as well by acknowledging that the energies and such are able to exist, and such things that also has to do with spiritual finance and such. So that's sort of the basis and the backbone. So hopefully it can only get trippier from here. We'll just try to get trippier content from here. Hopefully that's possible, and such. We get partnerships going so that it gets more interesting as well. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. Whatever. You know what I mean. Anyways, thanks again, DINKY. Peace.